This video introduces the final workshop within the Excellence for Everyone programme, The Road Ahead, and is only relevant for those schools or groups of schools who've undertaken a complete workshop programme. The focus of this final workshop is to celebrate successes and key learnings, share best practice across schools, and consider what next. What next for the In-School Impact Project? What next for their pupil premium strategy? And what next for your whole school approach to supporting disadvantaged cohorts? When looking at the slides and facilitator notes for this final session, you'll see that there are a range of activities on offer. We want you to choose how to structure this session and what activities will bring most value to your cohort.
Sustaining a programme, sustaining success, is one of the more challenging elements of addressing educational inequality. My starting point is that we're really focused on pupil need, and that teacher agency is really important on this agenda, that we recognise that this is an issue that really matters for our pupils, and it's an issue that really matters, particularly in the secondary phase, for pupils within my subject domain. So we think about, how does educational disadvantage present in my subject area, and that our responses around it might be slightly different across those subject domains. So the middle leadership element of this is really important to sustaining success. Counterintuitively, I think one of the most important ways that we sustain and develop a programme is to do a few things well and not think, right, we're at the beginning of a new school year, we need to implement something new. Rather, we need to be really open and honest and say, educational disadvantage is a long-term issue. We can't address things with a simplistic short-term intervention, that actually we don't actually solve this problem, but that we just keep at it, and that every little interaction we have with pupils around whatever approach we're taking is an intervention. It's sustaining it. If we look at what the evidence tells us around, say, the vocabulary gap, the language gap associated with pupils from lower socioeconomic quintiles, you can't solve that with a quick 6-month fix. It has to be every moment being a language moment right across a pupil's school career. Keep it tight.
The key components to draw out are to celebrate and share best practice between school teams. This could be done through carousels, where each team is asked to bring a presentation on their in-school impact projects, to reflect on the progress they have made both individually and as a group, and most importantly, to plan ahead and consider what to do next for their disadvantaged pupils long term.
After completing our in-school impact project, we will be looking at what went well, but also look at what we can do to improve for the future. And we'll certainly be taking some of those principles forward. We know that the project we used works. We tried it on quite a small scale this time round, so it was with a small number of students over a relatively short period. But we know those principles work, and we know it can have real impact. And we'll certainly be looking to embed that as we move forward this academic year. And a key example of that will be a heavy focus on Year 7 students, particularly those from a pupil premium and disadvantaged background, boys, and also from a BME background as well, because that's certainly something that we want to raise the profile of and ensure that we focus on this year. So that's our key kind of learning points moving forwards. Essentially, it's going to be a scale up, and it's going to be really making sure that we tweak and enhance and embed those things that we know work well.
Through the programme, I have been able to work with a significant number of schools, and that is from the primary sector and from the secondary sector. I think what's always really interesting is how long the schools engage for. Some schools, it will take just 1 year, because actually they're at a place where they are ready to put in place the suggested strategies, and they have the buy-in from all key stakeholders to make sure that actually those initiatives can be rolled out throughout the whole school. In other occasions, we've had schools that have joined the programme and continued on for a second year because they've needed that additional layer of thought to how to actually roll out the programmes to have a greater, wider school impact. And on some occasions, we've had schools that have participated in the programme for 3 years, because I think what is often quoted back to us is the CPD that all members of staff. And remember, the programme is not just about the teachers, it's about the support staff as well, teaching assistants, SENCO. The wider staff being involved means that actually involving themselves in the project means they've had all of those staff trained up, with, again, the key premise of the programme being that information cascaded and rolled out across the entire school. So it really can vary from school to school, and I think that's part of your role as a programme lead and facilitator, to understand the dynamics that brings to the room and to cater for all those needs.
We have actually delivered the programme year after year in Portsmouth. We have new cohorts. We have second year cohorts where they still join, but they are taking their projects further. We give them ideas how to take them whole school. And we actually have the same schools join again, but actually start new projects, because they find the process so useful and they find that their staff develop so well. It sometimes happens in Portsmouth that teachers then become leaders because they've had that training that's really enabled them to progress in their career.
I definitely would recommend the programme for all schools, all contexts. It's enabled us as a school to really kind of look at our provision and scrutinise it. And, the way that we now focus on data, the way that we now focus on our students' needs and personalise it has made a huge difference to how we focus on our students, our disadvantaged students.
Whilst this is the final video, do go back and rewatch previous videos as you need to. You may wish to use them in your training workshops. Thank you for engaging with the Excellence for Everyone programme. Challenge Partners is keen to hear your experience of how the programme is serving your schools and pupils. We look forward to hearing from you.